Hi everybody, I'm Maddie. Welcome to my channel. I am just posting this on here because it's Christmas time. People are supposed to be in the Christmas spirit, right? And I was in the middle of photographing listings, literally just in this room with the lighting different and everything. And I was trying to watch some YouTube videos while I was doing it, and I started listening to everything people are releasing right now, and people are just a little bit discouraged and a little bit upset right now about their Q4 and how much they've made, because a lot of more hard good sellers and stuff like that versus clothing seem like they're selling more stuff, at least to the people that I've watched their videos and stuff. So I just wanted to make this video. I'm trying to make it like not super long, but we'll see what happens. I just wanted to come up with a couple ideas for things that you can do to either like boost sales during the end of the year, or to just like feel like you can still be, wow, I said like a lot just then, but just to feel that you can be more productive and, not comparing yourself to other people and just trying to like keep your chin up and not giving up, because there's people out there that are being like a little bit, I don't want to say dramatic, but like they're just concerned that they're really concerned that what if this is not going to be a like good career for them, or long term will provide them with like money and stuff. In any business, like any business at all, is going to have like dips and dives, and then moments where you make like way more that month and you're not really sure why. So anyway, I'm actually surprised to hear that people are having a bad quarter, because this has been one of my best quarters. However, I have been doing things differently. I was during the whole year doing what I feel like a lot of people do, which is like post on Poshmark, send people offers, try to make sure they're using good keywords and everything and picking good items, and sharing their stuff regularly, all that kind of good stuff with Poshmark. But I was noticing that it was slower this year for sure compared to last year when I had the same types of items. Now, I still was making more money than last year because I had more items available, but certain items that I know for sure would have sold for more money last year are maybe just not performing as well, which a lot of that can be brand association as well. So one thing you can do is you can regularly be delisting and relisting your items. I personally, to keep my sales going regularly without live sales or anything like that, like Posh Live or whatnot sales, I will relist weekly. Like I will do probably like all of my items are at least 30 days fresh on everything. So if it starts getting to like 25 days, 28 days, sometimes I'll even go ahead and relist it. Especially, I don't like things being over a month old listing wise. So I try to keep all my stuff fresh, but each weekend I'll relist about like 150 to 200 items or something like that. I'll relist just on Poshmark, not on eBay, because eBay will auto relist your items and make them fresh after a certain amount of time. So one thing you can do is make sure that your eBay sales, if you sell on eBay, that your eBay items and your listings, that you have the promoted listing feature on. I know that some people do this, some people don't. You can actually preset the percentage that you'd like to use for the ad rate. So eBay takes less of a percentage than Poshmark does to begin with. So, I mean, you can afford, if you are used to Poshmark, technically you could afford to do like an 8% ad on your item and you would be fine, honestly. So there's that. You can go through all of your eBay listings and maybe like see if there's any item specifications you can add, or even go into your, I've just started doing this myself, but you go into your promotions and you can actually run a sale on eBay. So you can set like a parameter of this weekend, I'm gonna have everything in my eBay store 30% off. And that's essentially like just offering 20% off on Poshmark almost, because of the percentages. It just depends on if everything is a promoted listing or not too, but I did actually run this sale where everything was 30% off, and I ended up selling like 8 items in one day. And normally on eBay, it's a little bit slower going because they don't really have eBay like down pat, but that did work for me. It did work. So there's that. You can, this is all just like while you feel like slow on Q4, things are just not working out for you. This is just like a long list of ideas of things you could be doing. Send offers to your likers, but do it like by going to the closet and go to My Shoppers, and then send offers through the My Shoppers feature when you select and multi-select and add items to the bundle. This is actually, in my opinion, better than just sending offers to likers because it shows up in their email as like, this person has sent you a private offer, and then you can comment, and it looks different on the interface. It looks more like, oh, they're not just sending this to everyone, they sent me this offer. So that's an idea for you. And also it will like you can add all their likes to a bundle. So it'll automatically add like, all 3 or all 5 or all 6 of their likes in, and then you offer them like 30 or 40% off. They could be getting a really good deal, and you could be moving inventory that way. Some people do this. I haven't done it, where you go to everyone who's written you a love note in your Poshmark, and you just comment on there and say, hey, again, thank you so much for giving me such a great review on this item, because you've been such a great customer, I'm going to offer you 50% off of anything you want in my closet. I mean, that's a bold thing to do, but you might make more sales than you realize, since they were so happy, and you already know that they were happy customers. And then other things like you could be absorbing more like information that's going to help you get better at reselling. You could be watching YouTube videos. You could be watching podcasts, listen to podcasts. Things like that could keep you like busy. If you're not making sales, you can be sourcing, but I kind of suggest doing all these other things first if you have a lot of inventory. Like say you have over 400 to 500 listings, maybe just try some of this stuff. Like if you have a lot of listings, like I have a lot of listings right now, I have almost 900. Whenever I'm feeling like sales are slow, I feel like the best thing I can do is figure out like, okay, what is making these items not sell? Do I need to like lower the price on them? Because I generally list things pretty high so I can send steep discounts to people. So I'll send like really steep offers to things on people, and then relisting is like the best because then you get new people. Specifically to Poshmark, another thing that I do is I will go in and look up new users. Like you can actually search for people on Poshmark, and you can search by brand. So you can say, ooh, I want to find closets that are free people and they're active. Well, if it's a new person to Poshmark, but they're just starting to sell some stuff, they might have some Posh credit that they're wanting to spend on items. And if you have a lot of stuff in your closet, a lot of free people, like look up brands that you sell and just mass follow a bunch of people on Poshmark that have just joined Poshmark that like those brands, because you can physically look it up that way. Just look, you'll see, you'll be like, what in the world? I could have been essentially like popping in and liking all these and following all these people that they love all the brands that I sell. And if you follow them and they're new to Poshmark, they're going to see you and they're going to go, oh, let me look at their closet, because they're new, and they're going to be clicking on more things than, people like us do that have been on there for a long time. I would also just be wary of you don't want to spam people. You don't want to be spammy. But if you have quality to offer people and something that's going to be exciting, I think my friend Regina, she does the Posh Babe podcast, and she has her Instagram is the basic Posh Babe. So I think she said this on her podcast, I'm pretty sure, but she was like, it's like it's one of your best friends, and just imagine it you found something that they would really love. You're showing it to them, and you wouldn't feel bad about that if you were doing it with a friend. I have all this really good stuff for a really good deal. It's so exciting. So yeah, with that, make sure you're picking up things that excite you and you're excited about, and you feel like you're providing people with like quality items that, you know, all that stuff. Listen to podcasts, yeah, like Posh Babe podcast. Anyway, another thing you can do is like maybe if you've not been making very many sales, maybe this is a time like where it's okay to be slowed down and you need to do like yoga in the morning or go on more walks or like do things that keep your mind off of the fact that like, you know, free things, don't spend a bunch of money on things, but like, you know, things that bring you joy that you, when you're really busy selling a bunch of things, you don't have the time to do. So whether that's like finding a part of your home to reorganize or just to like start some kind of fun baking project, start making sourdough. I mean, there's so many things you could be doing with your time that you can, go ahead and work on. If you have a flawed item pile, go ahead and just start working on those items. Like, when else do you have the time to do this? I can't tell you how many times I've had a flawed item that I fixed and then I realized later that like I totally could have sold it faster and better, just like listing it and saying, hey, this has a flaw. Like, some things have a flaw and it's okay. You can just disclose the flaw. People don't care sometimes, but if the flaw is bad, just go ahead and fix it and get it listed, because you don't know, it could sell like really fast. And just make sure if you do fix it, like if it's a sewing project, if it doesn't look like completely excellent, then you might want to disclose that it was mended. I mean, you just might. But if you are really good at sewing and it doesn't look like anything was done to it, I don't think there's anything wrong with a couple loose threads that you fixed and not saying anything about it, as long as you're 100% sure that that didn't have like more of a flaw or a reason why that was happening. Another thing you can do, because it's like the Christmassy time of year, is if you're slow this month, another way to just save money in general is like make people Christmas presents, or find a way to make a new custom card for your business and get it ordered now so that you can use it as a write-off in your taxes this year. That's another way to save money. Tell Your Friends, V, her name's V, but she's Tell Your Friends Sportswear on Instagram. She actually recently posted a couple days ago saying like, you know, here's all the things you should be doing with like end of the year. Like, make sure you get Vendu or some kind of thing that's like a cross-listing feature, but it's also right off at the end of the year. You can get a new like Chromebook. Like, if you do automation with sharing on like Depop, relisting on Depop and Poshmark and all those things, you can actually get like a Chromebook or like a cheaper laptop to constantly run those things, so that your like main device that's nicer doesn't get all worn out constantly running, the automation stuff. So that's something that actually I have been using. I have a MacBook Pro actually in front of me, and then I have an older MacBook Pro that has been running, but the battery is like starting to explode. It's like, apparently like you're not supposed to leave them running. So I think I'm gonna get a Chromebook and get one of those laptop fan things to run underneath it, because they're just so much cheaper, and run that with all my automation. But that's a write-off too. So finding ways to like save your business money at the end of the year is really a good idea. Maybe you're supposed to be working on spreadsheets. Maybe you need to like have an inventory spreadsheet that's like really up to date and you haven't done that yet. Like, maybe do that. And then another thing is like find new, what we call honey holes when it comes to thrifting. Find like 3 or 4 different thrift stores that you're gonna go visit, maybe each week or like every 2 weeks, something like that. Try to find some new places to source. Like, maybe because you're stuck in this rut of finding things in the same places, maybe you're finding the same kind of brands in those places, and maybe those brands are not performing as well as they used to, and you need to like learn other brands. I mean, and go to other thrift stores in like slightly different parts of town maybe. And then another thing that I'll say, like as far as like brands and learning brands, it took me personally a while, because I didn't have the money growing up to spend like exorbitant amount of money on really expensive brands and clothing. So I didn't know anything about these brands that a lot of times pretty much everything that I pick up to sell is something that I almost never knew about before. I knew Anthropologie and Free People, but everything else that I pick up to resell is pretty much stuff that I've never heard of until I started reselling. So one thing I did to learn these brands is go on Instagram, follow tons of hashtags like cart haul, thrift haul, bolo brands, all these. You can even go onto those posts and see what those people have hashtagged, and sometimes they have a hashtag that's like really well used. You can go and type it in and follow that hashtag. It does kind of fill up your feed a lot, but that's kind of the point, is that it fills up your feed with like, essentially you're giving yourself like flashcards every time you open your Instagram because you're learning new brands. So that's how I learned pretty much almost all the brands that I pick up. Outside of, I am the one that's cursed with having expensive taste. Like I'll go into a store and feel around on the clothes and be like, oh, this feels really nice. And then I pick it up and it's like $500, you know? So, if you are a person that just like naturally leans towards finding expensive pieces, it is kind of a blessing and a curse, because you'll go into the thrift store or to the Goodwill bins and you'll be digging through and you'll be like, this fabric feels so nice. And that happened to me the other day with a Natalie Martin dress. If you don't know Natalie Martin, just Google Natalie Martin dresses. That's a really good one to pick up if you ever find it. But I had never found this brand before. I didn't even know what the brand was. So I picked it up and I was like, this is so soft. I put it in my cart at the bins and just kind of moved on and didn't even check it until I got home. And when I got home, I was like, well, shoot, this dress is sold for $90 like a bunch of different times. So anyway, just try to learn new brands and stuff, but most importantly, just be like easy on yourself about this. Don't take the holiday season too seriously when it comes to your reselling business and lack of sales, because I grew up with my parents being self-employed and we were in a food business, and that was the busiest time of year for us, right? Like selling food was so busy. We were always just like, couldn't go to any parties or anything because we were having to help my parents with their food business. And when you look at that, you're like, man, like people are spending money, but they're spending money on different things when it comes to the holiday season. And, you know, that's because they're focusing on spending time with their family and getting things for their family, all that. So one thing you could do is maybe leading up to, like next year, leading up to the gift type season, you might be able to find a way to like source things that are more new with tag, or things that are more like gifty or gift forward. I would like stray away from things that are winter themed necessarily, but you definitely could find ways to source things. I know some people even go out and when they release all the candles at Bath and Body Works, there's like a whole following of these candles, and later on in the springtime, when their candles are all burnt up from the holidays, there's like a couple different scents that people will pay money for. They will pay like $60 to $80 for this candle that was like $18 to $20 before. So I'm not saying go buy a bunch of candles necessarily, but it is like there's different things you can be doing to source and sell for the holidays. So for me personally, and I know I've been like talking almost 20 minutes now. I was going to keep this at like probably 30 or so, maybe 25. But for me personally, I've been doing a lot more live shows. So I've actually been really busy, but I think a lot of that is because people are still wanting like that personal touch with things. And there are some people who are just like at home. They don't want to go out and shop for people. They still want to buy clothes, but they want to buy them in a very like affordable, inexpensive way. So there are ways. I know not everybody is super excited about the live sale thing. I mean, certain aspects of it I love, and certain ones I'm like, ugh, do I have to do this? But there is a bit of a rush. Like when people are really actively buying from you in a live sale, you're like, man, this is pretty nice and I'm able to move this stuff pretty quickly. I know that's like a whole other topic, and there's more like ins and outs to that, and pros and cons. But for me personally, this has been one of my best quarters just because of the live sales, but a lot of it has to do with the items I'm picking up, so I would say this time of year, since you're not selling as much, maybe have a new goal for yourself that instead of picking up items that you could list for at least $50, maybe only pick up items that you could list for at least $100 to $150. And you might come home empty-handed some of those days, but if you're going out and all you're doing is spending time and not money on these things, and you source, 15 items, that's almost $1,500 worth of potential sales. And if you're going out and sourcing multiple days, over time it is worth it to source things that you can sell for more. So with that, I feel like it kind of helps you hone in your skills at sourcing. So not saying that I there's a place for selling in bulk, and I definitely do it too, but if this is a slow time where you're not busy packing sales or necessarily busy in the other areas of your work, maybe this is a time to either be listing from your death pile and just focus on only listing, or if you have no death pile at all, then maybe just go and just get better at sourcing and just focus on learning new brands and all that kind of stuff. So, but just don't be discouraged, don't take this one quarter and say, oh, I don't know if this is going to work out for me, if I should be doing this anymore. Maybe just even when you go to the bins and try to make friends with some of these people that you see there all the time, see if they are really busy selling things, what they're doing, if they're successful. And if sometimes you'll find that these people are not selling a lot of the clothes, and they might have a ton of inventory at their house that they'd be willing to part with and sell you. So anyway, yeah, just don't be shy when it comes to it, but be kind to everyone. And yeah, I just don't want people to look at this and go, oh man, I might quit just reselling just because of this one quarter. This 1 month has been bad, so therefore every month will be bad. Maybe just think even ahead too of okay, next month everyone's going to be making New Year's resolutions to get in the gym. Maybe that means you need to be sourcing activewear. So, and make sure that it doesn't get stuck in your death pile, or take your death pile, look through the whole thing and find all the activewear in it and get it all listed now. So it's just done. But yeah, another thing that I've been doing too is I used to list through Vendu, but I've started actually listing on Poshmark first through my phone. And I use the Photo Room app where it removes the background and everything. I've been using that and doing all my everything in the Poshmark app. It's actually been faster to get things listed that way. And then I import into Vendu. And then after that, I cross-list everything to eBay. So it has been a lot faster than using Vendu to because you have to click and scroll and click on everything and select everything. And it's so much faster to select everything in app on Poshmark. Just my 2 cents. I never thought that I would say that, but it is true that it's better. It probably ever so slightly down-reses the images, but all the apps do that and all the websites down-res the images. So for me, it's not it's not a deal breaker, a game changer. I was gonna say game changer. It's not a deal breaker, but it's been a game changer to list on the app itself. I never thought I would say that, but it's apparently so much faster. It's almost twice as fast for me. Okay, so I think I'm done right now, and I just wanted to hop on here to make a quick video. I hope this gives you tons of ideas and inspiration to try new things, and maybe have a couple things you're gonna try to just, I don't know, there has to be 2 or 3 of these things that I said that you could try to do this month while things are slow for you that you didn't think about. So I hope this was helpful, and let me know if it was down in the comments. If you like this video, I'm sorry that I just like talked so fast and gave way too much information, but if you liked this, that's just how I am sometimes, then go ahead and like the video if you can, maybe comment, and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so that you see more videos. Sometimes I post really close videos back to back. Other times it's like a month. So yeah, another little like tag note there, I probably won't be doing a whole lot of Whatnot videos anymore because I'm just not on there as much lately. So what I will be doing though is more Posh Live videos and about my experience on there, because for me personally, I don't have a huge social media following. So the Posh Lives have actually been a lot better for me, like financially. The Whatnot Lives are great socially, and everyone is just so much fun and encouraging, and I love all the people there. But it's just not paying the bills for me, and there's so many people on there now. Pretty much this is just my 2 cents, but in order to be successful on Whatnot, you kind of have to just be all in on Whatnot. And I like to be able to just like close my phone, not think about it. I just try to do things in my life that are going to be sustainable, that I would want to do later in life. And I don't have kids right now, but eventually when we do, I would hate if my kids always know me as constantly being on my phone. I grew up on a farm. I grew up being outside, not being like super obsessed with TV and all that stuff. And yeah, I just don't want I don't want to be stuck on my phone constantly. It gives me like anxiety to be on my phone constantly. I just want to be able to be creative and do stuff. So anyway, I am hopping off now, but thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, go do all the YouTube-y things, and I'll see you next time. So thank you. Bye.